There are only less than 300 master sommelier in the world, but no
classes. I do a lot of very classic examples.
Luan is, first of all, he's a very good boss and one of my friends as well. During work, he's very serious because I still remember that during the 4 days selection of the new Group 1 list, we work like one day we work until 5 in the morning. So when you taste it all at once, your brain stop to work. That was tough, but he's very serious because if the work is not done, you cannot get home. So basically, I think for us, for Sommelier, there's this most interesting thing we can have in the one word, because I think there's over 40 different professions in one industry, but only maybe Sommelier is working on this side, right? I think for one pairing, there's a very impressive that is you can work whatever you want. Just sometimes you can even break the rule. Sometimes we did something wrong, but the good thing is you can already talk to chef. We can work together. If I said this maybe it's too strong, they can reduce a little bit, and we're not just like how to say genius of food and pairing. We feel maybe 10 times before you taste the food pairing. So that's an amazing job to try so many food and wine, and I think that's like the charm of the sommelier side as well.
Sommelier is a very hands-on job, right? It's a very practical job. You know, to fancy the word, what is sommelier? You know, we always say, okay, we are the bridge between the wine and the consumers, right? You know, we introduce the world of wine, the stories, you know, the taste, the value, the emotion to the guests, and we connect them, right? But the most essential part of being sommelier is to sell wines. You know, that's what we do. You know, I mean, company don't hire sommelier there just to look nice, right? We have to sell wines. We have to make them real value, right? So, but in order to sell wines, you have to have a lot of skills. Very good service skill, very good communication skill, very good knowledge, very fluent decanting, sparkling service, and you have to know not only wine, because we need to sell other stuff. You know, I sell beers, I do cocktails. You know, you have to know the world of beverage. You know, I upsell waters as well. It's part of my job, right? You did very good on the second wine. You aced the wine, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, fresh, vibrant, juicy, everything. You pretty got a high score on the second one. First one, you missed a lot of points. I think every time you do tasting, you have to be extra careful about the first one because you don't have your palate need to get into the tasting mode. So the first one actually is also Sauvignon Blanc from Sancerre. I think the key part of this tasting is to have two Sauvignon Blanc side by side, and you have enough courage to name both of them Sauvignon Blanc. Actually, they're both quite obvious, quite typical. But when they're side by side, sometimes under time pressure, under exam pressure, under competition pressure, you don't dare to say you have two Sauvignon Blanc within one flight. So that's the part you need to train yourself more on it. Okay.
Liu Yang did not only serve as a sommelier in the hotel, but he also
sommelier, ex-sommelier from Shangri-La, Pudong, and I'm also the student of Liu Yang, master sommelier. Today I came here for absolutely for Liu Yang and for our friends. They are in the final competition, and I also joined the competition this year, but not very lucky because I love wine and I love blind tasting, and I'm also have some practice before. I think the blind tasting is very challenging and very interesting.
Before you drink the wine, smell the wine, you never know what it is, but you need to do the challenge, you need to figure out what it is, where it comes from, and yeah, that's a really funny part for me.
Yeah, it also helps you to know more about some wines, the granularity of the region, all of the things you can see from the blind tasting.
We're focusing on this competition for more than 3 years, so we are forbidden to attend. We're forbidden to play with other ladies and gentlemen for the last 2 years, but this year they finally permitted us to join.
Yes, and by the way, last year we two are judges, and Xiao Duo Shen is the technical guide. So it's like daily life, because every day we were tasting over 30 different wine for blind tasting. Because that's just like our daily life. So.
Actually, we've been here for 3 times, and we're very happy to join this wine blind tasting competition, which is obviously the largest competition around Asia. So very happy to be here.
Ginny is an iconic person in the wine industry. Being the first ethically Asian master of wine, she contributed her whole career to wine, being a wine critic, being a wine educator, a consultant, and much more.
I'm a master of wine based in Hong Kong, and I've been living here for 24 years. I came into the wine industry pretty much as a wine writer, so I've always been in education and communication and publishing in the wine industry. And so 10 years ago, I became the first Asian master of wine, and since then, it was the same time as when Hong Kong eliminated its wine duty. So there became a lot of opportunities, both in terms of teaching and writing and communication. So I've been very, very lucky to be able to do a lot of diverse things. I should have fallen in love with wine a lot earlier because my father drank wine when I was growing up. But he drank very inexpensive, cheap wine from California when we were living in the US. And at that point, when I tried wine for the first time, I didn't like it very much. So it was only when I was studying at Oxford that I really started to discover what great wine tastes like. And that was such an eye-opening experience because I didn't realize that wine could have so many flavors, that it could be so interesting, so deep, and so varied. So that's when I really started to get into wine, and I've never worked as a sommelier, so I didn't want to be serving wine. So there seemed to be very limited opportunities. And when I came to Asia, I thought, oh, writing about wine, that's perfect for me. Teaching about wine, that's perfect for me. But even then, it was a very difficult full-time profession. And it was only 10 years ago that there so many opportunities came up. So now I can make the writing, the education, the communication of wine as a full-time career.
Welcome to this program committee meeting, and today we will discuss about further improve the program in terms of internationalization, industry partnerships, with a view to improve our students' employability in the future.
So far, the feedback has been very positive, and I think because it's such a young program, I think what we need to focus on now is how do we get the graduates to be more successful, and how do we become more international?
We don't have vineyards here, so we need to look over the world and see what are leading areas and to build our relationships. So Cage Business School, I guess in Bordeaux, is an excellent example of our move to more internationalization.
The students are interviewed to then go to Cage. So selected. Yeah, they are selected. I mean, because we have to send students who represent our school at the highest standards, you know. So
I guess what we need to do more of in the future, building upon our previous work, is right across China to look at where are the green shoots, where is the new development occurring, how can we get young Chinese students to aspire to come to Hong Kong to work with us as well. So I think that's a good platform for us.
But I've noticed over the years that the students have become quite strong in their wine knowledge, and in the very beginning, maybe one of the areas that we can try to improve upon would be to try to engage the industry a little bit more at an international level.
The other things we have done in terms of connecting to industry was organizing master classes. Last time you organized one on Burgundy Grand Cru masterclass. I think that was very well received. Next week we have someone from France. the aroma. Yeah, that's right. So this is another way to connecting the industry.
The other good thing is that all that wine that is remaining from those workshops then gets given to the guests in our training restaurant. Well, yes, so they get some great wine that we are able to let them sample as well.
I think now it has become a real wine hub for all of Asia, because where else are you going to be able to find great wines from all over the world that's duty-free, with ease of logistics, because we have a very good, strong logistics infrastructure. Our flights, our daily, refrigerated delivery trucks, all the flights that come in and use Hong Kong as a hub, our storage facilities, all of those things are not available in other places. And I think if you just look at what's happening in the wine auction market, it's very clear that as a fine wine hub, Hong Kong is definitely already there, just within 10 years. I think ever since I was young, I always loved wine, not wine's flavors, but all kinds of food flavors. So I was really crazy about food first. And I actually went to Cordon Bleu for a year to learn cooking, French cooking. And it's because I love flavor. And when I realized that wine has such a diverse and amazing array of flavors, and the more I learned about it, the more I feel like I fell in love with it. The perfect moment for me is enjoying it with really close friends or family or people who really, that I'm close to, that we all feel comfortable. Round, balanced.
Yeah. This is a local flower crab, and we use the crab meat in putting it inside the fruit tomato, and then the shell of the crab is made into a jelly with some Chinese yellow wine.
I'm actually thinking maybe because you use the Chinese yellow wine, maybe we might try the sake just to see if it pairs better. Oh, the tomato is delicious.
Yep, very good.
So while this dish can go well with the champagne, I'm just thinking that with the sake, it might bring out more umami.
I like it better with the sake, not because of the taste, but it's stronger.
That's a good answer. What I love about sake is that it gives this neutral foundation to all the food flavors. Unless the sake has a very strong personality, very often you find that it just brings everything up. And when I spoke to a lot of sake producers in Japan, and I asked them, sake is so subtle, so light almost, right? Almost like drinking water, but with just a little bit of flavor and alcohol. He said, that's exactly our purpose. We don't want to be the solo singer. We are the backup singers. The food should be the soloist. Yes.
True.
So it's a very interesting philosophy, but wine producers don't have that.
No.
They want to be the soloist. They don't want to be the backup singer.
Wine is such a broad subject, and as a master of wine, Ginny has done so much to acquire those knowledge and keep it up to date. It is really not an easy task.
So the Master of Wine is notorious for being very, very difficult. So that's still why there's only 300 or so Masters of Wine in the world. And I think the reason is because they created an exam that is 4 days long. So I call it a kind of marathon exam. Basically challenges your endurance. Can you be good day after day? Can you not be worn out? You may be exhausted by day 3. So the exam itself is geared in a way that tests not just your knowledge of wine, your tasting ability, your ability to be able to analyze a question related to wine that shows your mastery. So it doesn't mean you have the knowledge. Many people have the knowledge, but can you master this subject enough to analyze it, to critique it, and also to have your own opinion about it? I'm a perpetual student, so it means that I'm learning every day. I don't feel like just because you have a Master of Wine title, you stop learning. I think you're challenged even more, and I guess my feeling is that as the first Asian person, ethnic Asian person to achieve the title, there is a responsibility on my part. And the first responsibility is, how do I give back? What do I give back to the next generation? Because I've been privileged enough to receive it. So my job is to give back. So I would say that my work is very diverse, and I enjoy being able to do many things in the industry. So one of the things that I'm very committed to is teaching. So I've been a professor of wine in practice at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and it's a great university that really fosters hospitality and F&B industry. I also do a lot of master classes, and I continue to do that around the world, not just in Hong Kong, but in Korea, in France, in the United States, in Singapore. Because when you're teaching, you have to teach not just theory and not just what's in the books, but what's really happening now. So part of my travels and my work as a wine critic helps me a lot in being able to teach contemporary issues.
Yeah, Malbec World Day is done every 17th of April, and it's an event in which Argentina promotes the image of the Malbec variety of wine, and they do that internationally. It's done in every city around the world. Jeannie is a Master of Wines. There is very few Master of Wines here in Hong Kong. That is people that have the highest level of knowledge about wine, and she is one of them, and she was very recommended, and she's well known within the educational industry of wines in Hong Kong. Jeannie will present 8 different Malbec variety wines to 20 plus people from the food and beverage industry of Hong Kong.
So today is a masterclass on the iconic Malbecs of Argentina. Everyone knows that Chilean wines are very, very fun, inexpensive, good value for money, and delicious. But less people know about Argentina, and it's just next to Chile, and they actually produce 5 times more wine than Chile. So today we're celebrating Malbec World Day. And started in 2011, Malbec World Day is one day, the 17th of April every year, where hundreds of venues and places around the world celebrate the grape variety Malbec. So Malbec is a uniquely Argentinian grape variety, and having one day around the world where we can celebrate this grape variety is a really wonderful event, and that's the masterclass I'm leading today. My job today is really just to be a leader, a mouthpiece, and what I would love to do is let the wines speak for themselves. Just the key facts about Argentina: it's a very large country with a small population. That means there's a lot of land, there's a lot of potential to explore, and winemaking has been a part of this country for 400 years. And the key grape varieties by far is Malbec, and most of the wines, the reason it was not exported, the reason maybe you haven't heard of it or you don't see it as much as Chilean wines, is because they didn't need to export. The domestic market was large enough and successful enough so that they could consume pretty much everything they made. I hold master classes all over Asia and all over the world. So there are master classes that I hold here at the university, at the Food and Wine Academy. I hold master classes at different wine fairs, like the November Hong Kong International Wine and Spirits Fair, as well as Vinexpo. So depending on where the venue is, the audience can be very, very different. Teaching at a masterclass, you have to really understand who is your audience. So are you teaching consumers? Are you teaching beginners? Are you teaching very knowledgeable people? And so the content has to be tailored for the audience. The university level of teaching is much deeper and much more serious because the students have to be tested on their knowledge. But if you're in a master class, some people listen very well and some people say, oh, you know, I'm not so interested in this subject. So you have different levels of engagement, but I think the university class is very different, much more serious. So with this wine, it's very clear that she wanted to produce a Malbec of elegance. You might call it slightly feminine. There's a lot of really beautiful floral notes in this wine. You definitely get flowers, you get dried jasmine, you get red cherries. There's a vibrancy, a freshness, and a lightness. And she's kept the Malbec and handled it in a way that didn't extract too much tannins. So she really preserved the fruit character, the aromatic character, and you can see from not using any new oak that she wanted to avoid any oak influence, overt oak influence as well. I mean, the container as a second-year barrel is really there to give it a slow maturation because there isn't any overt oak influence at all. I'm very optimistic about the future of wine in Asia because if you look at all the numbers, the growth is here, whether it's wine production in China or wine consumption elsewhere around the world, you can see that the numbers here, the growth is definitely higher in Asia than in any other part of the world. But besides that, I think it's because I feel like culturally, we have a very strong understanding of good taste. I mean, good flavor. I'm talking about good food. Everyone in Hong Kong, everyone in China understands what is delicious, what tastes good, what doesn't taste good. We understand what it means to have depth in flavors in food. And so I think it's only a matter of time when you discover that wine as an entire beverage category gives you the kind of complexity, the kind of depth, the kind of range in great flavors that food can give you. I feel like it's only a matter of time that the whole region will continue and grow to really embrace wine. The meaning of wine to me at this moment is a channel or a vehicle for me to express myself, who I am as a person, as an educator, as a commentator, as a writer, in some ways even as a mother and a daughter and a wife. How? Because wine allows me, through my writing, through my teaching, through my consulting, my travels, and my exposure to the industry around the world and the people, that it allows me to be everything that I want to be, and to be able to express myself in a very unique way that not everyone has the ability or the opportunity to do. And so this is part now, wine is part of who I am as a person.